Computer?
Perfect. Yeah.
Okay.
Great. The recording started.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Hmm.
Yeah, please carry on, Chitra ji. You were saying something.
Yes. First of all, Aditya, I'm seeing you after a long time, and you've already developing male kind of baldness. You know, your receding hairline. I see that. So, so there is something with this just the gender change has done that also. Very interesting. So yes, no, we were just kind of having a little chit chat about. She was trying to say that we associate male with ego, but anyway, I have my own take. It's not like, see, ego though is a part of our design. Ego is not something, I would say, wounded ego. And that is there is a wounded male and there is a wounded female. I mean, all our egos are wounded because of, and because of that, we have certain survival strategies, because all of us need to survive. That is, survival is swadharma. So now those strategies become like that. So either they'll become intimidators or they'll become aloof. And women, we become poor me. That's the primary poor me victimhood. Or we become investigators. I was an investigator. I perhaps still am. Maybe that's why it's good for my profession. You ask questions and sometimes very, innocently actually, because you want to get out information. Because information is your power. So everybody is actually looking for that power. Now, men have it through intimidation and aloofness, and women have through poor me also is kind of you get attention. Attention is energy. So, so these are just when we understand, I somehow these days am moving away from generalization because my generalization is usually dependent upon my own personal, experiences. But then, 8 billion people on planet Earth, and each one a story, each one so different, and each one. So it's a journey, I guess, for all of us. So yes,
great.
thank you for this topic, Aditya. Because
Yes. Can you hear me okay? Everybody hear me okay?
yeah,
I think all friends are joining and it's 7. I like to keep it sharp 7 when we start.
absolutely, absolutely. So how do we do that? YouTube कुछ करना है मुझको कि हो गया we are.
No, I think this recording will go on and we will upload it later to YouTube because we
Oh,
cannot write.
perfect.
Okay.
ठीक है.
So I see Ramji joining, Kaveri ji, Parul ji, namaste. Very nice. And I think some more friends are still joining because it's sharp 7. Can we do we give another 2 minutes, Chitra
Yes,
ji?
yes, let's do that. Yes. Hi, Sonia. Yeah. Hi, Parul. We haven't met. Kaveri, Sugita.
Hi, actually, I'm driving and I'm attending a session.
Perfect.
So I'm that's why it's mute. Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, Vipul. Some people, couple of them are my friends and others are now my new friends.
Yes. New friends, new friends and old. Sonia ji, namaste. Vipul ji, namaste.
Namaste.
Nice.
Namaste, sir.
How are you, sir?
Fine, sir. How are you?
I'm great, sir. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, I think now we can start. Can I request everybody to turn off their speaker or the microphone? Yeah, that then the voices would be clear. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. And if possible, if you can see your faces, that would be great. So welcome, friends. Our topic today is stages, unlashing male vitality from the inside out, I was thinking, what a heavy topic I have chosen. Authentic masculine essence. My God, it's like very heated. Many of you know me. I am Aditya Dutta, and many of you don't know me. So I'll do a quick introduction. So I'm Aditya. I started my career as a Microsoft engineer. Then I switched on becoming, now I call myself an identity coach. There's a story behind it. I had gone through some identity confusion. I felt I was trapped in my body. And I thought, what is it to be a male? Like only a mustache and some beard will make a male. And what is a female then? I always had this question. I was interested in biology classes, psychology classes, but no was giving me the answer. What is it to be a male and a female? Right. So I had my journey, my transition, finding my own identity. I think I'm still finding it. But I find these very intriguing, these subjects. With this journey, I had met many friends, many masters. And one of my very beautiful friend and master, I would say, guide Chitra ji today is here. She would be, you will know her. Already many of you know her. So she's a very beautiful friend and guide to me. Always, I'm so inspired by her simple work. Chitra ji, and I said, let's do some, she suggested we do something together. And I'm very honored that, we are here together in this platform. This is the first time, Chitra ji, right? Me and you together. So, friends, that was my journey, and always going more deeper into the subject, trying to understand my gender and sexuality, and whatever I learn, I wanted to share. I asked Chitra ji, what is it? What is it to be a man? What is it? So in this conversation, we want to develop spaces like this where we want to bring people, and earlier also we have done a few platforms like men's circles, women's circles. This is was a small try to bring all people together and talk about it. So one funny thing happened. I was asking all my female friends today, because we were talking about male vitality. So I said, can any of you send me a picture of a divine male, divine masculine picture? So I had many, but I want to show you something which one of my friend had shared. I am not sure if I'll be able to share it, but let me see, because this is interesting. Oh, Chitra ji, you are the host. You have to give me permission. Anyway, let me get back. It will take time. But she sent me a picture of a green frog. Okay, and it was very funny. And I thought, wow, I was expecting something like, I was looking forward. What is a divine masculine would look like? But that is the image of a male, or masculine energy on earth. And I think that needs to be changed. And basically, I feel, the definition of real man, when I was growing up as a teenager, and I was pondering about what is it to be a real man. And it was mostly, I saw violence and, things like men can't cry, they need to be tough, and they can't be vulnerable. They are go-getters, right? That is the definition of male. And that was, I used to wonder, like, how can people survive like that? And I saw men later, when I started understanding, even including me, I started being attracted to, addictions, I would say, like binge drinking, bullying. That was all, and for me, it was not bullying. I was more into depressive mode, but for other men, I could say, I could see that how it was going. So friends, me and Chitraji were talking about, it all depends on how we raise our boys, right? And she's the mother of two, and I'm sure she has a lot to share on that. Basically, for me, I am interested in understanding male vitality in terms of energy. And I wanted to understand, where are we losing that energy? I think there are a few things that comes to me when we say losing energy. One is the thought process, and I think the other thing which I see is, releasing the semen where men needs to, I won't say control, but needs to have mastery. So that's what I believe in. But let us now listen to Chitra ji, what she has to say about male vitality. I don't know, I just introduced Chitra ji just like that because she's a very close friend to me. 2011, we just met, with I think some conference we met. And she gave a very beautiful workshop, which I remember, which is still there. And her simple teachings and very profound is what attracts me to her. And I'm sure you will enjoy what she has to say. So over to you, Chitra ji.
So thank you and namaste to everyone. So for a woman of 65-year-old to talk about male vitality. But you see, for me, vitality has no gender. It's not male vitality or female vitality. We all need vitality, and now that I am dabbling into astrology as well, I see how, like if we look at sun as a divine masculine, the sun has a different kind of vitality. And if you look at Mars as divine masculine, Mars has a different kind of vitality. You look at Jupiter as a divine masculine, and there's a different kind of, vitality. But the vitality is the vital ingredient of living a life. Otherwise, you are living half-dead lives. And most of us are living half-dead lives. Just the other day in my class, somebody said, as usual, my husband and son don't smile because like all other men. I say, I mean, like, how do you know how many men smile or don't smile? But see, that's the impression. My father was like that. I mean, he just won't smile. So when I met my husband and who was like smiling and laughing, and I say, yeah, he's the guy. But then he had his moods when he won't smile, like I have mine when I don't smile. So it is like, I think there are certain things which have got nothing to do with the gender. It is because when we make it gender-based, then there comes a problem. But at the same time, as I understand things, the masculine essence, and we all have it, whether we are men or women, that masculine essence is the essence of a giver. So that is why the man gives. He gives the sperm and the woman receives. So the woman is the receiver and the man is the giver. So when the man can feel that I can give, I have something to give, that man comes into his vital force. I'm a homeopath, so vital force is a very special word for us. The vital force is what makes us healthy, what makes us, ticking, what makes us happy. So that everything for a male is linked with his capacity to give, to provide, to protect. And if he thinks he can do all of this, then there is vitality in that man. But in today's world, the problem is women say, oh, we are the givers. Women give. Women are always supporting, women are giving, and the men are takers. So how has that changed? How do we became the givers? So again, as I see it, that's because women like to mother everyone. So we mother everybody. We mother our husbands, we mother our brothers, we mother our fathers, we mother our sons until, whatever age they are. We just can't get out of that role of the mother. And then we smother everybody. And then the other person just keeps withdrawing, because somewhere his giver, protector, provider image is challenged. So what would anybody, I mean, like, we should open it up for the men who are here. It's not like, that only I know all these things and others are all takers. No. So does anybody have anything to say on this subject, on this particular, point, that a man feels strong in his power when he can provide, protect, be a giver. Like we say, God is the only giver. So the man is actually the image of that God, the he. That's why Pati Parmeshwar, you know. So when he can feel like that Parmeshwar in his little world, and then only he feels in his power. Then he has vitality. Then he is, you know. But that is because somewhere we raise our boys to be the king of a kingdom which doesn't exist anymore. Earlier, that kingdom was kind of given, you know, that he is the prince and he will marry and he'll be the king. But now that kingdom is no more. There is no kingdom. And then suddenly the prince realizes, oh my God, who am I? Jack. What am I? And then he just, you know, kind of looking for his lost kingdom somewhere, that somebody will see the sovereign, the royal, the king, the Parmeshwar, the, you know, in him. And I think that quest kind of makes him lose his vitality. And that's what, like you said, that overthinking, even women overthink. So our brain uses, I mean, that is what some scientists tell us. I don't know how they have calculated it, that 25% of our total energy output is used by our brain, even when it is in the resting mode, in sleep. So when we are overthinking, you can imagine how much of our energy, it's like, say, mobile phone. Many apps are open. It's like just draining the battery. Same thing is happening with us. And then in the men especially, because men somehow think that their vitality lies in their, you know, their organ, and they somehow like to just, you know, play with that and derive whatever pleasure, joy out of just that, and then they lose their vitality. Because Deepak Chopra has done big study on that. I'm sure there'll be many other people, that how much of food it takes, you know, to first make the blood and then to make, you know, semen. So much of forces. And also that ejaculation itself is not an easy process. You really need to work it up for it to be ejaculated with that kind of force. So how much energy is used? That is why men, after the act, go to sleep, and women keep looking for more. Never satisfied. And then the man, because he cannot satisfy his woman, and so then also he withdraws, becomes aloof. So it's such a cycle that we are, you know, today stuck in, that the man cannot actually feel the vitality that he should. So he looks for it in money, he looks for it in big cars, everything has to be big, because the phallus has to be big. So there is an attraction for the big, you know, longer cars, you know, big and long. If there is something which is, you know, and hard muscles, there is something that the man has got it just wrong. Their power is, you know, like women have gentle power. The male, by just being a male, especially in our society, you know, elicits respect, elicits power, elicits command. Say, like in our homes or in office, a woman will have to work a little harder to earn that, but a male will automatically earn it. But they lose it by, you know, not being that giver, or that man enough, so to say. In my time, they said, with a cigarette in my hand, I feel like a man. There was a song, you know, and red and white and all these kind of ads. So they have to find something to feel man enough, while just being a protector, provider for the immediate family. I think nothing can be more vital function for a male today. And there is a book called Iron John's, you know, maybe I'm getting the name of the author wrong, but there's a book on this male psychology. it is the Iron John only. It is on, how the male cells sing a different song from the female cells. So the male child has to have the company of the father after the age of 7. In fact, many indigenous society, there are these rituals where the boy, going to be a man, is taken to the company of men and now becomes part of that. When I was growing up in Western Uttar Pradesh, the boys at the age of 7, 8, then they move to the men's side. हमारे यहाँ उसको घेर कहते हैं, घर and घेर. So men live there because then male child needs male company to understand the male psychology. But in today's world, the teachers are also all female. The mother is so dominating. They don't go out of the mother's, so-called, the word is coming to me, clutches. And then, somehow, and then there's another woman who comes in the life, and their vitality, they are just, I don't know where they are looking for that vitality. So some men to share something. Aditya, you share something.
Yeah, so beautiful, Chitra ji. What I feel is, there's a difference between this, as you said, men and women. And men, even their psychology and the way they are born, they learn through physical. Physical comes first.
Yeah.
For males, right? And it's the opposite for women. They are, they are heart power or intuitions. They're born with that. They first, as you're saying, they first take a hold of intuition and heart, and then physical is secondary. But for men, the physical comes first, and those comes later. Now, when a man needs to be like you're saying, like a protector, like a giver, that's like an evolved man. But a boy needs to become a man, right? So I mean, there are 80 years old also boys, so they have never grown to become a man. But this process of coming from the physical and not rejecting the physical, and from there navigating to the subtle, is like a transition for men. So even many of the work that I have learned through Taoist teachers and Tantra teacher, they said the man opens from inside out. So he goes from like his phallus, and then he opens out. For women, it's opposite, from outside in. It's always, because that's, it says, the women takes time to heat up during like a sexual union. So this transition is somewhere also, I feel when we had so many discussions with men and women, the women somewhere they feel it's like vulgar. The physical part is vulgar, and it's not right, and being sexual is not right, and all this taboo around sex comes. And even a boy is in Indian setup, it's always like chi from the mother, don't touch that organ, right? It's like a sin, or whatever you call it, masturbation. And so it's always the boy has chi with the first contact where he's supposed to get his connection, right? So if that is a chi for him, or that is being taken away, so the connection is lost. And that's where the other thing, the head things come, because the primal contact is being cut off, and then the man or the boy becomes more in his head, and then he wants to conquer, he wants to be strong, he wants to prove, and all these things comes, and it becomes a complete mental game. That's the reason men, I think, becomes more mental. But in contrary, if the boy was allowed that it's okay to be physical, okay to be sexual. It's all right. The mother has supported, the society has supported, not this big taboo was there. I mean, in a healthy way. I don't think it would have been unhealthy if it would have been natural. Like for animals, it's natural, right? There's no taboo there with animal kingdom. But yes, with us, if it was done that way, I think the first connection was not lost. Men wouldn't have gone too much in their mind. I mean, I feel it very strongly for myself, and when I speak to many men, I know this problem is there. First they say they feel so guilty, they are so shameful of their urges, and of course their urges are more. Of course, testosterone levels are more, the body is different, the make is different, right? And I feel many women, and especially the mother, they have not probably understood it rightly, and so this problem is there. So I wanted to just highlight that as you were talking about the physical part. Why men? So I wanted to bring why it happens to men, and there is a little understanding the women. The other side, when we are talking here anatomy. I know you are talking, the mental. I mean, the physical, mental, then emotional and spiritual. So the other layers are fine, but for men it starts from the physical. It's gross, and if we lose the gross, we lose everything. Then it becomes like a mental game. So I just wanted to add that, Chitraji.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. But here I have a point that it is the same for women as well. And now my work more and more involves the physical. Women, when they are just born, and the fact that it's a girl, that imprint, first of all, gets into their system. Women are also as obsessed with their breasts as men are with their penis. Women are also very obsessed with their physical body. It's not like they are not. And women are also very sexual today and expressing their sexuality. When children play games, small children, house, or doctor, they're all kind of, touching, feeling, everything happens there. But yes, somewhere in our psyche, even as a child, you have this, that this is something wrong. That something wrong is inside us. So shame and guilt, in my work, I discovered, why do men swear on their mothers and sisters? And the discovery was because the men and sisters are the first female bodies that they have been attracted to. The little boy was attracted to his mother's boobs and his sister growing up, or, so they all carry that shame inside them that I was attracted to my mother and my sister in a sexual manner. So they abuse each other using that particular thing. And that for me was a big eye opener. Because as women, as mothers, we just we are so easy with our body when the growing child, is around. And these days, mothers like to bathe with their sons so that they get comfortable with women's body. They, I don't know whether these practices are good or not so good in the long run. I have no idea. But in the Western world, it is like a norm. Even in Indian upper class, these are becoming norms that, they should be exposed more and more to the bodies. But at the same time, this is, again, I say, not about the gender anymore. It is more about the conversations that we have to have around this subject. The mother herself is not comfortable with her sexuality. And that is why she is saying, chi-chi. Like when my boys were growing up, and I remember, even, I mean, forget about growing up, even as a baby, when I'm cleaning my son, so their little, tiny penis will just have erection. Because that erection thing it is like a build-up thing, that something fondles it, something touches it, and that erection happens. And when they were growing up, I remember, 7, 8-year-old, and they say, Mama, when we see Chitrahar, and then, this guy stands up. And those days, Chitrahar also was like nothing. But as a mother, for me, it's okay. It's all right. Because I had seen how, even when they were like infants, it would. So it would. That titillation happens. That connection is, like you said, it's part of it's a given thing inside you. You have to gradually discover. You don't just become a man from a boy, It's like it's a hormones don't just kick in when it's in puberty. They start much earlier. So, because in our society, we are not having these conversations. I do classes on conscious sexuality. And so I know how even women are, so much. And the other thing is too much, the plenty has kind of drained men and women both so much that people are becoming asexual. In marriages are asexual marriages for young people. So it is a huge, I think it's a subject, and I'm so glad, Aditya, that you kind of, specialize in this subject, because everybody is having that identity crisis that you're talking about, not just men, it's also women. Today, we talk about what are your pronouns, that I may be looking like a woman, but I can have a pronoun of a man, or, you can't even say he, she anymore. You have to be very clear and people, like, even in the emails, they mention, these are my pronouns. I mean, we didn't grow up in that world like that, but now we are familiar with that world. So there is so much that is happening, and I really request all men, women, everybody to just look at this subject with little more, you know, I would say connection with nature. If we approve of it in nature, why not in us? That is our nature. We are sexual beings. It's our nature. In fact, the whole universe is sexual. Kundalini is sexual energy. Everything is, that is the way the world is created, in this duality, that we come together and we produce, and, and it's so until and unless these topics are shared more widely and with a mixed group, otherwise men can talk in their own group and say whatever, and women generally talk in their own group, and we do male bashing. Men, I don't know, that's why all these jokes on marriage and things come, because somewhere all are suffering, Why suffer? I mean, why have we come into this life to suffer? Like when you travel abroad and you see older men and women like so much in love, and when you talk to them, somebody's third marriage, somebody's fourth marriage, and they are in love. When you see old people in India, and they are like, कोई कहाँ जा रहा है, कोई कहाँ जा रहा है, only asking खाने में क्या खाओगे, अच्छा नहीं ये तो मैं नहीं खाती हूँ, अच्छा मैं like, look at our conversations, how boring we are. So when you're boring, how can you have vitality? Tell me. Vitality is like life, it's like joy, it's like love, it's like generosity. I mean, all that is part of vitality. Otherwise, तो जिंदगी काट रहे हैं, हाँ, बस ठीक है. Man, woman, सब जिंदगी काट रहे हैं. That's
Chitra ji, you mentioned about gender. I want to share about a friend of mine. She is a female bodied friend, but she would say that when I wake up in the morning, I feel like a man. When I go to bed, I feel like a woman. And that's what she identifies. And this is her whole life. I mean, this was so shocking for me when I was talking to her about it. And she's very clear about, again, the pronouns is not she. There is something called Z-E.
Yeah, these days.
Yeah. So Z. So if she is gone, he is gone. And my friend has taken the pronoun Z.
Yeah.
And and it's difficult to be in a polarity, I feel. How long can you stick to one polarity? I mean, that's again very boring. even when I speak to couples, they share that sometimes even the man, gets into a female polarity and the woman gets into male polarity, and then it shuffles. And if there is this movement happening, I think there is some good balance in the marriage.
So again, like, I don't know about, see if it is shocking for you, somebody who is like, so can you imagine how shocking it is for a regular person who's never even thought about these subjects? So you realize it's not so easy, because there's a certain conditioning in our mind, and there is that we talk about two genders all this while, and suddenly now we don't know, and we may offend somebody by just using a pronoun he, she, and they will take great offense to it. I mean, not just, they will not even try to correct you, they will be offensive about it. That how can you just assume by looking at me that this is my gender? So you see, in this kind of a society, how intolerant we are, and how there is no room for, good discussions. And all of us have the masculine essence and the feminine essence. I mean, that we cannot, as a mother, there is a more of a masculine. Right now, when I'm speaking, I have more of masculine essence because I'm speaking. If I was just listening, some of the men who are listening, right now they are more in the feminine sense because they're receiving. So, and this dance continues. And that's life. Sometimes your masculine essence is in 4, and sometimes your feminine essence is in 4. You're giving, receiving, giving, receiving. But the body, when you are in the male body, and I come back to that, the male-bodied person wants to feel like that Pati Parmeshwar, and I have nothing against it. In fact, I kind of support this, that Pati Parmeshwar idea. When I was, one of Dr. Newton's workshop, Consciousness Heals, and I actually literally saw the cells. I mean, you will understand it, how in that space you can. And when I was seeing those cells, and each cell with that nucleus, and how that sun, the sun is the nucleus in everything. Everything else revolves around the sun. And in a family, the man is the sun, woman is the earth, and children are the satellites. So satellites now, they revolve around the earth, and together they revolve around the sun. So the man is the sun. I mean, I have just no doubt about that. But the man has to feel that I am the sun, and the woman has to be happy being the earth, and know for sure that my satellites will revolve around me. I mean, that's how it is in nature. But where we do the mistake is that the earth also rotates around its own axis. That means earth is constantly taking care of itself. It's rotating around its own axis, which most women are not doing. And when you're not doing that, then you're drained, and then you blame the man, and the man also loses the power. And the sun is like, if the sun is not given, in some homes, the children become the sun. Everything is done, whole world revolves around the child. So that is, again, we are creating entitled children. And all these personality disorders which are coming, that those are also coming because the children are so entitled. If the father has that authority in a home, that home is much better run than, anybody else just becomes the son. So there are so many, layers to these questions. They are not as simple as, okay, this is the gender. So this is like, what have we done with this society? There were such beautiful, clear-cut roles, and everybody, can be very happy in that role. I always, whatever I do, I think I have learned the most in the role of a homemaker.
Chitra ji,
Yeah.
the one which you said is so beautiful. I would just want to add on that the sun, the earth, the satellites, all the worth are same.
Yes,
Worth-wise,
absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
worth-wise, the sun and the earth, satellite, all the worth are same. Worth doesn't go small or big,
No,
right? It is just where they are placed and what they are supposed to do.
absolutely.
So just because of sometimes we feel not worthy,
Yeah.
and the earth want to become the sun or the sun want to become the earth. Sometimes
Yeah.
that is again we go into our mind because
Very
of not much worthy feeling.
Yes. Because we think the other person has it easy. So that's why what you said, when you exchange the roles, and then you realize, oh my God, so women who have to actually fend for themselves, who have to earn money, who have to go out and earn, then they realize it's not so easy. It's a tough life out there. So, and if the man takes care of the home, and they will realize it's not so easy. So each one is equipped to do whatever. So round pegs in round holes and square pegs in square holes, and then everybody will feel worthy. It's just that we are trying to fit in, a different hole than who we are. So that's where we come, where we are placed. What is my, space, or what is my station? And then who am I? All these questions are so important. And I think that is why, because people are asking these questions, so all these kind of issues are also coming up, because people are more vocal about these things now.
So another way to look at it, this is different perspective I'm just sharing.
Yes.
It's like sexuality and gender is going through an evolution.
Yes, of
And
course.
possibly what we have learned earlier, it may not work for, because when I talk to these new generation kids and the way they describe themselves now, I really think like, no, that I didn't think of this perspective from them. So gender barriers are being broken, and probably I always feel that in the coming, the next generation, I'm going to see something very different and beautiful, because it's a discovery. That's another just perspective I'm sharing.
No, I love that perspective, because for me, one thing is given, that whatever is happening is only beautiful. I never deviate from that. So whatever is happening, I do not, question it as, that this is going down the drain. I never look at it like that. We are in an ascending yoga. We are all ascending. Whatever is happening, whatever consciousness is coming, there is some growth, some evolution, something is happening, and it is all beautiful. Otherwise, God won't even allow it. The fact that this is happening, and the grand overall design is allowing it, so that only means it is beautiful. Only
And
thing
that means,
now, yeah.
so sorry,
No.
that means the vitality is intact, vitality is intact when we are evolving.
Vitality is only intact when we are allowed free expression. Free expression is a part of vitality. Because when we are not allowed free expression, then our vitality is suppressed. And suppressed vitality is what is coming out as anger, or what is coming out as issues, or what is coming out as, it's suppressed vitality, because it cannot be suppressed. So it expresses itself in volatile ways, So, but to allow free expression, we have to be that kind of a tolerant society, an open society, that I can allow it without feeling threatened by it. Otherwise, we all want everything to go the way we have known it. But it's because we are scared of the unknown, right? But when we get
It's easy.
excited about the unknown,
Yeah, it's easier to even fill the form, like male, female, just two categories.
Exactly.
And
It's so easy, So so it's but when we are open to it, it is a struggle. I'm not saying that, it'll be very easy, but at least to be open. All right, I don't know your pronoun, but I'm willing to learn and I'm willing to honor that. So then the other person, because all the survival strategies are needed only as long as we are feeling unsafe. The day I feel safe, I do not need survival strategies. Then I just thrive. But because all of us are feeling unsafe somewhere, so we need these strategies. And these strategies involve the ego. So that is why, I mean, these kind of discussions, these kind of things are becoming, I'm not saying that they are not in the domain, but more and more they have to come out in the open and people need to speak about these things. But that needs courage. You have so much courage. I really applaud that. And your family has, at the end of the day, supported you, right? So to have that kind of courage and to have that support, I think when you're courageous, universe gives you the support. First, it has to come from within you. So courage is also a part of vitality. And at the same time, like you said, you yourself went into some depression. And so many people today are struggling with depression. Now, what is depression? Depression is just lack of vitality. When you are feeling, vital and good, then you are like a superhuman. You're a hero, right? Nothing is impossible for you in that space. And that is where we all want to be. But when we are not in that beautiful space, do we have beautiful souls around us who nurture us and who say, it's okay to be. And you will come back and you will bounce back. And it's like a tree, which is cut or which is not nourished enough. And then you start nourishing it and it just thrives. So maybe we need more such spaces for all the children who are, there is every second day you hear of some young child taking their lives. No? So it's like, why would a vital person will not do it? Person with vitality will not do it. So the thing is, where are we losing our vitality? So shall we do a little process for that? Just to, because discussions are again mental masturbations. So if we just have a little process and connect with the body. Yeah, is everybody ready? I mean, we don't see people are around, or are they doing something, driving, cooking, sleeping? So if you could just, show us your faces so we'll know that you are engaged and we can do a
Or maybe put on the chat that you are there and you're ready. Just say,
send
a heart or something on the chat so that we know.
faces. Yeah, no, I see the faces now. This is wonderful. So let's just close our eyes. If you're wearing glasses, you can take your glasses off. Close the eyes and take 3 deep breaths. And I would like your backs to be straight, because a straight back is very important for vitality to run through. So your back is straight, and imagine the cerebrospinal fluid, some fluid that's running through your spine and going to your brain. Imagine it in whichever way, a fountain or a river which goes up and down, whichever way you want to imagine it. There is fluid in your spine and which is going up to your brain. So cerebrospinal fluid. See how it bathes your brain. and then brings it all down, and the vitality spreads into your body. Feel it spreading into your body. All the nerves are carrying that message. All the nadis are carrying that vital force. Wherever you pay attention, that's where your energy goes. And energy is the vital force. It is what gives you vitality, the high energy, high you feel. So just feel this, the fountain of youth, which is right inside you, the fountain of vitality, right inside you. And whenever you are ready, you can open your eyes. So it's very simple to do a little process like that. And Adi, if you have time, can we do another little process? Or you think we are done with our time?
We have
Yes.
like 10 minutes. I was thinking if because we were talking and there are so many.
People? Oh, okay. If they will share, perfect. Perfect. Yes.
Yeah. If anybody can add in something, have a question or have a different perspective to
Please.
share, that would be great.
Yeah. Yes.
It-
Something. Or even just this, what you did just now in a minute. Did it make any change to your energy? Would anybody want to say something? Yes, yes, Sonia.
Yeah. Um, I actually agree to whatever you said, like the thing you shared, na, that the males they have this thing in them. My husband is very good in all aspects, is very supportive in all the endeavors I do. He's like a rock behind me. But whenever we go together, this thing struck me for a drive. And if I'm driving, there is something tingling in him. No, I should take the driver's seat. I should be there in the driver. I said, "आपको हो क्या जाता है? You're so supportive, everything." But this thing, then I could just relate
Yeah.
to that. कि हाँ, there is something in them कि uh, even if they're so supportive, so such thing कि कुछ एक पे edge वो चाहिए उनको.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I felt.
Because that is natural in them, you know,
Yeah,
to
I
be in
felt
charge,
so.
to be the leader, and
Yeah,
to for a wife, you know, that I'm here to drive you. You know,
yeah,
it makes them
yeah,
feel good about themselves.
yeah. I could relate it to that, so I thought I'll share. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and so beautiful, Sonia ji. And अगर आप थोड़ा बोल दें कि yes, you know, I totally like you are always there और आप हर समय करते हो, आप कर लो drive, you know, they feel so good. और भी करेंगे आपके लिए और भी लाएंगे ना वो, तो
Yes.
थोड़ा सा बोल देना उनको कि yes, yes, you know, आप करो.
नहीं नहीं, मैं कहती हूँ मैं नहीं करना है. मैं क्यों, आप थोड़ा सा अपने पे कंट्रोल रखो.
ये हो
I
जाता है ये.
can't.
तो नहीं तो you know the men says don't worry, you know, I will pick up the children. The woman says no, I will do it.
Yeah.
ना तो women थोड़ा अगर बोल के हाँ आप कर लो ना, मैं बहुत you know कर लोगे तो अच्छा ही होगा, मैं कर लेती हूँ, तो they feel so good, they want to do more, they want to give more.
Absolutely. You said it. So, Sonia, this is a lesson which we all have to learn, and we learn because we somehow, nahi, I will, you know, because it's a power.
Yeah.
Driver seat is power, remote control is power, your kitchen is power, and nobody
Yeah.
wants to just hand over that power somehow, you know. But if you are
Mm.
just ready to just say, okay, yeah, you drive, no, let me just enjoy
Yeah.
and just sit, and so
Yeah,
many
that
problems
only
can
happens in the end. That only happens. Yeah.
yeah, but to do it a little more with joy and with that, you know,
Yeah,
that he wants to
definitely.
care for me. And like what Adi said, that maybe then he will do more for you. Like I remember some women say कि ये कुछ लाते नहीं है मेरे लिए. And he says कि मैं कुछ भी लाता हूँ इसको पसंद ही नहीं आता है तो I don't bring anything. So
Hmm.
there are
Yeah.
so many sides to it. Because as women also we are I mean or as any human I would say, not woman or man, it's just that everybody wants to you know, just cling to whatever little thing we have, you know, the power we have. So it's that, yeah. So would anybody
So
else?
I would like to share these.
Yeah. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
good evening, Chitra ji, and good evening, Aditya and everybody. So it was a very, very profound discussion. I really enjoyed each moment of it, though I was just in the car and, could not switch on my camera at all times. But I really enjoyed the discussion, and I really feel that such platforms should be more, come in open and should be promoted because of course each one matters, and each one's experience and the way they think also matters. And thank you so much. It was really, really lovely to hear from you, because such discussions are not, you really see on open platforms. And it was such a cozy group. And secondly, yeah, the ma'am just shared कि मेरे साथ भी ऐसा होता था. I used to get very, very upset because I wanted to prove myself so many times. When my husband used to wanted to help me in the kitchen and do something which I used to feel what my in-laws will say, what this person will say. So I used to, try to prove myself, नहीं नहीं मैं कर लूंगी. And many a times I used to feel underpowered, where I was not able to do things what my husband can do. But as I made peace with myself, aligned my energies, I felt what I can do, I am good at it. And if someone is there to help, I should be thankful and take it as a blessing.
Yeah.
That happened that I started, whenever he entered the kitchen, I used to help him a bit and then come out so that he also can do his bit with peace with the two helpers he has. And then gradually, what happened? After 6 months, he stopped going to the kitchen only because he felt कि तू जब मैं जाता हूँ तू तो कुछ करती ही नहीं है. You are just enjoying chilling, watching the movie. चल let's watch together, let the help do. So जब तक मेरे अंदर वो था कि नहीं मुझे प्रूव करना है, so तब तक I was not, in peace with my own self. But when I started taking things as it comes and make peace with it, things started changing for better.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Pooja ji. I think it's like two males in one kitchen, तो बहुत गड़बड़ हो जाता है ना. एक male, one female, ठीक है. Two males
तो
in
चल
one
जाता है.
kitchen is एकदम खिचड़ी. Yes.
Yes,
Thank
absolutely, I agree.
Good evening, Chitra ji, and good evening, Aditya.
Yeah.
This is Rajkumar here.
Yes.
Recently, I started realizing something about the gender. Everyone is talking about gender equality. Somehow, what I realized is more than gender equality, what people needs to be educated is about gender sensitization and gender empowerment. Because, like, even though there is toxic masculinity and toxic femininity, everyone is there. Just trying to blame somebody, it's not going to help anyone.
Yeah.
Maybe I think we should somewhere start with gender empowerment and gender sensitization. That will definitely help the future generation a lot. And I think in that way, I think Aditya is doing a good work.
Yes.
And regarding the process, what we did just now, when I was actually like visualizing the flow of the fluid, I somehow felt like it was like I felt electric.
Yeah.
I felt something like current which just passed.
Yeah.
passed through me. That's what I felt.
So thank you for sharing that. And we all have this electromagnetic field around us. So the masculine essence is the essence of electricity, and the feminine essence is the essence of magnetism. But magnetism is only possible when the current flows. So magnetism comes later, but the current has to flow first. No, electricity has to first flow. And then that magnetism comes. So magnetism is the feminine quality. So all of us have that. And I'm glad you connected with that electricity, you know, which grows. And that is what then empowers everything, right? So vitality will come from that. So it's a very simple half a minute thing, you know, that everybody can. I wanted to do when we discussed, and I said I will do a Shiva Lingam, a process, which is a process I sometimes do about, connecting that where the linga is coming from, where are you seeing the linga from? When you see the linga, it is in the yoni, and how actually the ovum is seeing it, So anyway, but when I started the process and I thought like, whatever comes, naturally it was coming to me was this. And I think this is just half a minute process, which everybody can do. And it will, and there is that spring of, youth. There is that fountain of vitality inside us, right in our spines. But just because we don't even sit straight, how can we be vital? We're not making full use of that. वो pipe टेढ़ा सा करके रखेंगे तो कैसे जाएगा ऊपर? So thank you, Rajkumar, for sharing that.
So beautiful, Chitra ji. When you said that, I really had like a jolt of current just listening to you. So beautifully you shared. Maybe that little moment I was trying to connect, but it was very short. I could not feel. But when you said your words, I had like a orgasmic feeling in my body. The moment you said the electricity started. It's just remembering that it is there. So
and
powerful.
It's a real orgasm, actually. Once you start,
actually, we call it full body orgasm. Actually, that's full
that
body
is a real
orgasm.
orgasm. Otherwise, you just from the sacral chakra, you just put the energy out, and there is nothing
Exactly.
which is up there. So once you
Exactly.
start enjoying this orgasm, then you will forget about any other.
Exactly. It's beyond like those very timid orgasm that we have known. It is beyond, and the kind of Taoist practice that we do. Actually, we're trying to come to this full body orgasms.
Yeah.
There are some beautiful practices also that we can do. But this is so beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
I would like to ask something to Aditya, if he allows.
Yeah, Pooja ji.
Aditya, you transforming from Aditi to Aditya, you have seen both the sides. Not seen, maybe experienced in some other ways by your family or society. How would you like to put this in your own words? The transformation and accepting yourself the way you are now, or the earlier version of yours?
Yeah, great question, Pooja ji. How I would like to explain my case now, things are very different from everyone, and I don't, because sometimes we guess that what can happen to the person, but it's very different for everyone, that I want to say. Even the transgender community, that's the reason it's so complex, because everybody is very different in their experience. For me, energetically, I was born male, so I never, even in the physical female body, I felt caged. I was not able to express myself. My male vitality was sleeping. It was inactive. So I felt very depressed and caged because of. So I could actually never enjoy the female body. The female. Though it is so beautiful, I am very close to the mother and the feminine essence. I but I could not go through it somehow. I don't know why this was there. Some complex, maybe, I don't know, past lives, if you want to believe it. So when I switched to the physical body of a male, I felt, oh, I'm now relaxed. I'm more there. But yes, because I lived in a female body, I can connect to that body and the anatomy. I can speak to women very freely about these sometimes, that because I have, though I didn't like it, but I had to go through the physicality, the anatomy, the structure. It taught me a lot. So that is my story. From energetically, I feel, in my brain and my understanding, I was never a female. That's how I was born. But now there are different cases, LGBTQI and till Z, I don't know how many, and there are so many variations there, and they have different names for it also. But that was my case, and this is called, like, we people like us, they are labeled as trans men or trans women. Like, they transition, they want to transition, they're not comfortable with the body, right? But now if you are talking to a lesbian or a gay, they are different. They don't want to, they're comfortable in the body, they're comfortable with the gender, but they are attracted to. So it's like a little complex dynamics there, but I just wanted to clear that. uh, thank you for the question. I don't know if I've answered you,
Thank you so
Pooja ji.
much. Yeah, you are there. Thank you. I'll connect with you even otherwise.
Thank you, Pooja ji. Thank you. So it's 8, already past 8. Any like burning question? Any last one question? Anything else? Or I think that's it for today. Chitra
If
ji.
you unmute yourself and speak, she wants to say something.
Okay. No, the audio is not there. I think the audio is not connected. Just mute and unmute once more. Try that. Yeah. Yeah, I think microphone issue is there. Is it okay for you to type it out so that we can know in the chat box? Yeah, there's a chat box on the right. Maybe you can type it out. And Parul ji, you want to say something?
No.
Okay, okay. Okay, so the question is, hello from the past few days, struggling to handle my son and husband. That's the question, Chitra ji, for you.
Oh, well, so the question is very vague. So yeah, so see, we struggle with whoever we do not fully understand, right? So there is something that you are not understanding about them, and there is something they are not perhaps understanding about you. So there is a gap, energy gap, communication gap, and something. And this struggle is a very common struggle for many people. So it is I personally, what has worked for me has always been my authenticity. I have never hidden my emotions or from my sons or from my husband ever. It may not agree with them, it may not sit with them, but I have given myself that permission to just speak my heart out. And I have to say that people rise to that occasion, like my sons and my husband always rise to that occasion, that they may not agree with me, but they will say, okay, I hear you. Right? And in the process, I also kind of, because when I feel heard, then I can hear them better. So these things are, little complex. But if you come from that genuine space that I am here to understand them, they will feel, your vibes will be felt. But when we are all coming from that wounded space, then there is nothing happening there. Yeah.
Okay, I think that was the last question. Great. So wonderful, Chitra ji, and so many friends joining today. And the inputs of Chitra ji, I would have something really touched me in the session. I feel the vitality actually. So thank you so much, Chitra ji, and we would like you to come and give your wisdom more to us whenever time permits you, or we want to listen to you more. It's always been so beautiful, and thank you to all the friends for joining. Any last word from you, Chitra ji?
So, first of all, I really want to, appreciate you, Aditya, little openly, because the kind of work you are doing is not reflected in today's talk. I have attended one of your workshops in 2016, and I still have those slides. It is something which is like you had done great research in this subject. Even that your book, when you wrote and you sent that to me to read in 2000, I think 19 or 20. And I thought there is something, so deep in you, which is the nature has given you, because nature is going to use it. Right. And so I really, want to kind of support is perhaps not the right word, but walk with you wherever possible, so that, this your thing comes out, and it will help a lot of people, because identity is a huge issue right now. It's not like it's becoming like a pandemic, and people are struggling with it. So more and more, even if we do, I know you need to sustain yourself, you need to do a lot of paid work as well. But also, if this kind of work we can do, and, just so that people understand what kind of work you are doing. Right. So I would really, because my heart feels that way, I am like, I'm a woman, and I love being a woman, but because I'm mother of sons, I have great, kind of thing for males. I'm a cheerleader for men. And I want to be like that, I'm not a feminist kind of a woman at all. So thank you for this today's discussion, and thank you everybody for being here.
Thank you so much, Chitra ji. I feel really empowered, so that now we are like a army, taking this forward to people to know. Thank you. I really feel empowered, and I feel more strong, and I feel like sharing more, bringing more things, so that we can give to people and empower in whatever ways.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Namaste. Namaste.
So do I end it? What do we do?
Yes, you have to, leave, end that. Yes, yes.
Bye-bye.